Hey guys, it's Tsukasa. Welcome to Project Cars. This is an awesome new driving game that came out earlier this summer. When it came out, it just wasn't a good time for me in real life, so I hadn't had a chance till now to play it. But I've been hearing rave things about everyone is talking about how good this game is. One of my friends plays a lot of racing games. He has a steering wheel controller. He even races karts in real life. He said, "Man, you gotta get it as the most realistic car handling and simply the best driving game out there." So I picked it up and I played the first few races here to dial in my wheel controller's force feedback and the camera angles and stuff, which are all customizable. In the short amount of time I played it, I can tell you unequivocally, it is the best driving game I have ever played. It has the most realistic physics, the most realistic car handling. The AI is superb. It's not dumb AI at all. The graphics are astounding, like crisis level graphics, and it's perfectly optimized. At ultra settings, I'm getting a stable 60 FPS at all times, despite how beautiful it is. Um, the immersion and realism is just through the roof. I'm just astounded at how good it is, and the options are everything you could possibly want to pick and choose from are there. Whenever you first load up the game, it asks you, where's your skill level? Beginner, intermediate, professional, and it kind of tailors the game settings based on that. But you can go in and individually set them. Of course, I picked professional. But it's got all the driver aids you could want. You can pick and choose from traction control, stability control, anti-lock brakes, brake assist, steering assist, damage to the car. You want it to affect it or not. And the damage modeling is amazing. Dents and dings not just affect your aerodynamic efficiency, but if you run into stuff, you run the chance of breaking your suspension control arm, your intercooler. One thing happened in a lot of racing games, over revving your engine and not upshifting, it doesn't do anything like it would in reality. Here, I over revved the engine too many times and I blew the motor, and you have to pit to repair your damage, mechanical failures, tire blowouts, tire wear, grip degradation, tire temperatures, fuel usage. You can even set it so you have to manually start your engines. Flags and penalties are realistic, which is great, especially for online play. Too often, racing games online suck because assholes just run into you, ram you off the road, and go on to win. Here, you can't win like that. You get penalties and stuff, so that's great. It's got a guiding line and a driving line that shows you the proper line through the track if you want, which is awesome. Pretty much every single option you could possibly want for a driving game, it's got it to pick and choose from. The visuals are astounding. I can't believe how good they are and how well the game runs. I have everything set to ultra, and I get a stable 60 FPS at all times. The controls are great. Of course, any game like this is best with a controller and a steering wheel controller, and it supports pretty much any steering controller made in the last like 10 years. But you don't have to have a steering wheel controller. It also, from what I understand, works brilliantly with like an Xbox controller, PlayStation controller. They made sure the thumbstick controls work great because they had recently released it on the next-gen consoles, so they made sure they got that right. But as far as the wheel, look, it's even got a picture. Like that's a actual picture of what my steering wheel controller looks like. They made sure that it's got configuration options through the wazoo. You can customize every aspect of it. I mean every aspect of it. The force feedback settings you can customize in every possible way. It's a little confusing and obtuse at first, especially these descriptions of what they do, but I looked it up and dialed it in a little bit, and it feels incredibly realistic now. I'm loving that. The realism is just amazing. So let's jump into it here. I should say the game is on sale this weekend on Steam. It's like 40% off. It's a good discount. I don't have any regrets paying full price though. But we're gonna start a fresh career here. Like I said, I did the first couple of races, but I deleted that career. Let's start a fresh one for the video. Get the full experience. Just since I have to have a last name, I'll go with let's go with Arde. Always like the sound of that Tsukasa Arde. That's a nice ring to it, right? Nickname Su. Nationality. Boy, I got like every nationality to represent here, don't they? Just about. All the way at the bottom, U.S. Car number, how about 7? That's a good number. Now you kind of set your own goal in the career mode and really start with whichever one you want. You're not bracketed in at first, but there are some historic goals to aim towards and unlock an achievement for. So I'm going to go for aiming to get the 0 to hero, and that's starting in the lowest form of motorsport, which is karting, and work our way all the way up to winning the Le Mans Prototype 1 Series Championship, and do that within 10 seasons, so that should be a good challenge. As you saw in the intro video, there's a wide range of car types and motorsport in the game. That's represented here in the career mode, and you can, like I said, start wherever you want. I mean, if you want to start with the Le Mans cars, you can. Formula cars, GT cars, touring cars, what have you. But I'm going to go for that that achievement starting all the way at the back, and the lowest form, which is racing karts. And you may think, really, go-karts? Well, they're a little bit more than just go-karts. They're high-performance racing karts, and most professional race car drivers got their start racing karts. So when we click on that, we'll get a couple of different contract offers from different teams, and signing on with a race team. Um, as we progress and we start winning races and get noticed, we'll start getting contract offers from other teams that are doing other forms of motorsport, and that's kind of how you progress and jump from one type of racing to the next. So we could go with Torque Riders, or what's the other one? Dark Nitro. I like the sound of that, Dark Nitro. Let's sign on to drive their 125cc shifter karts. Just click here to sign.
Welcome to the world of kart racing. This is where many successful racing champions started out, and a great place to learn the basic principles of competitive racing. You'll start out in a short national series, followed by the Entry Karts Championship. Each round features a sprint race and a main race. Points are scored by the top 8 finishers. Bonus points are awarded for fastest qualifying time and fastest race lap time. The pit lane is open for refueling, repairs, and tire changes. It's time to start your karting career.
And this takes us to our career dashboard, which is where we come in between races, and from here we can chart our career progress, our results, and overview. There's even a little fake Twitter where you see what your fans and your critics are saying about. Yeah, it's kind of a neat touch. We've got our inbox. I guess these two are, yeah, just like welcome to the teams. But as we start getting contracts from other teams, I think they'll show up here, so it's good to keep an eye on that. You can get to your car setup through here, and the car setup is a big part of the game, just like in real racing. Tuning your car for the track you're going to be driving on and setting it up for that track, it will come into play big time and can have a huge impact, make the difference in between victory and defeat. For the touring cars and whatnot, and the Le Mans cars, that's going to be a big part of it. But for the kart racing, not so much. I think I'm just going to leave it all default. But to give you an idea of how in-depth the tuning and setup is, it's really some of the most in-depth and robust tuning options I've ever seen in a game. You can change your tire compounds, your individual tire pressure for each of your 4 tires, brake pressure, brake balance, aerodynamic downforce, weight balance, your steering ratio, caster, camber, toe in, toe out, your ride height, your spring rates, your damper rates, very in-depth too, your differential, your gear ratios, the fuel load. You can see the summary here of all the different things you can change, and you can change it through here with these sliders. But like I said, I'm just going to leave them as default for the kart racing, but definitely is going to have a big part to play when we get into the big cars and then the touring cars and whatnot. So let's go ahead and start our calendar here. When we click on this, it will advance time to our first race, and you see all of the races that are taking place anywhere in the world are listed on the calendar, and it's now the 14th, so these races here have already happened. And if we go back on the dashboard, we see in the middle of it, we got little news snippets that tell you who's been winning at the various races, and which is kind of cool because you can see if you're about ready to move into the endurance GT class. You kind of can tell who's doing well in that. You know who's going to be your rival in your competition. So that's kind of a neat touch. But let's go ahead and jump into our first day here. So before each race, you can customize the session length. Do you want it to be the full 100% 10 laps or the minimum of 2? Let's go somewhere in between, say 45%, which would be 4 laps. You change your opponent skill to be the beginner 0 up to the ace 100. AI is pretty good, but let's leave it on the full 100. It might not win every race. I probably still will though. Glencairn East in the UK is our first race, and this is actually a real race track. I think all but like 2 tracks in the game are real race tracks in real life. And there's like 35 tracks in the game, each of which has 3 to 5 different layouts, so it's a really good track list. We can edit our car setup before we start the race, and we can view the format and regulations. With karting, there's 2 races. There's the sprint race that we're about to do, followed by a main race. The sprint race starting position is random, but in the main race, your starting position is determined by where you finish in the sprint race. So you kind of think of that sprint race as a qualifying race, even though there are points for it. The sprint race, you start out from a dead stop, from a standing start, so getting a good launch off the line will have a big impact on how well you do. The main race, though, is a rolling start. It's a little bit more level playing field. But only the top 8 finishers get, out of the 12, will get points, and there's a bonus point for posting the fastest lap. So that's a bit of a breakdown of how the regulations work with karting, and having raced karts before in real life, I can tell you that the format is identical. Now, before we start here, because everything's going to happen so fast on this launch, I want to explain a little bit of how you get your kart going and get off to a good launch. Now, you start in neutral, and you gas it, and then throw it into first to start going. But you can't do that right off the bat, or you get disqualified for a false start. You have to wait for the light tree. Just like in real racing, there's a light tree. Here, it's 4 lights, one on top of each other, and they'll tick down from the top down, and the top 3 are red lights that will go off 1 second apart from each other. And then, when the third light's on, it'll be a 2-second delay before the bottom green light comes on. To get off to a good launch, the trick to it is, and it's a little hard to get the timing right, but if you do it right, it'll give you a reaction time boost over everyone else. When the red light's on, you gas it, and then wait about a second and a half, and then go ahead and shift it into first before you even see the green light come on. If you time it just right, you won't start moving until the green light's on. It's kind of the same concept with drag racing. If you've ever done drag racing before with the Pro Tree, the yellow light comes on, they say just go when you see the yellow light, because by the time you can actually react, the green light will have already come on. If you see the green light, you're done fucked up. So we'll start the drive here. Start our engines. You can see my foot moving as I tap the gas. Really detailed modeling. Full gas. Go. Oh, that was a really good one. Holy crap, he ran into the back of him. Whoops. Totally cut him off. Oh. I love the immersion of this with this helmet view. There's many different camera modes, but this one here is I like the best. It has the most immersion. It's like I'm looking out of the helmet. This guy's good. Oh, I can't run him right here. Nope, almost. Oh, I took his driving line. Ah, I bounced it back off. Oh, that was perfect. I had to angle the camera angle, though, down to see the wheels of the cart. That's how I judge it in real life. And I couldn't... I don't want to hit these bumpers, and I couldn't see it before. But there is a seat angle forward and back that I was able to find and change. And kart racing is like the most difficult form of racing, in my opinion. It's so hard to do. The kart weighs so little, it wants to slide. The power to weight ratio is so high, and it behaves very differently than anything you've ever driven before, especially under braking, because there's only brakes on the back wheels. There's no brakes on the front wheels like any other vehicle. And there's not anti-lock brakes, of course, so if you touch them a little bit too hard, they just lock up and you go flying. Sweet. First place. Nice. And I beat him by 1.8 seconds. Hell yeah. That gives us 15 points for the championship. That's a great start to it. Alright. Move along to the main race here, and of course, because we came in first place in the sprint race, we're going to start in the front of the pack here in the number 1 slot. But this is not going to be the grid start, it's going to be a rolling start. Which I find just as hard, because often it starts you on a corner. There we go. And maybe it's not just as hard. Pretty difficult to get a good launch. When you're doing a grid start. Now if I can just hold on to what I'm doing here. Should have no troubles coming in first place. But that's a big if. You gotta not fuck up. Hit that bumper. That one right there really makes you go flying at the beginning of that straightaway. Whoa, that one too. They're catching up. No, I didn't brake enough. God, this is so hard. almost halfway. Alright. I think I got this. We're covered. Pretty far behind me now. Yep. No, I'm not taking that at a very efficient line through there, but it'll do. Yeah, starting at the front of the pack really gives you a big boost. It's so hard in karting to catch up because these tracks are so short and the races are like, you know, friggin' 30-second lap. If you make one mistake, and it's one reason I don't really like kart racing in real life, because if you make one mistake, that's it, you're done. You lost. You'll never catch back up. And you'll probably end up getting lapped. It's disheartening. But because of its difficulty, those who excel at it, really excel, often end up becoming and going on to become really good race car drivers at the highest levels of autosport. Almost all the real racing I can think of, I mean real is not NASCAR, Formula 1 drivers, touring car, Le Mans car drivers, almost all of the champions in these series, they almost always come from karting, racing kart, at the beginning of their career. Come on, I'm gonna pass this guy. Come on. Ah, no. Shit. I can't believe that didn't get me disqualified. That was a great way to end it. Yeah, 5.9 seconds. Yeah, it makes a big difference when you start out in the front like that. Awesome. That gives me another 15 points for the championship. Let's see, 14.3. Nice. Hell yeah. Or, well, not 14.3, but 24.3 rather. Those are really fast times. That puts me at 30 points. 6 points ahead of the next guy. Awesome. That's like the best way to begin our career season. Really happy with that. I think we're at the end of here though. Yeah, we're running low on time. Next episode we'll pick up with the next race on the calendar. Like I said, the game is on sale on Steam this weekend for like 40% off, like $30. It's a good discount. But I know it's only going to be on sale for like one day after I upload this. Like I said, I paid full price for the game. I have no regrets. Really enjoying it. It's definitely the most immersive and realistic driving experience I've ever seen in a racing game. It's just a heck of a lot of fun. Really having a good time with it. I hope you guys are enjoying watching. Subscribe for more from me. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. And don't forget to thumbs up. Show me that you care. Until next time, though, I hope y'all have a good one.